Hello and welcome to another episode of the Microsoft Spotlight podcast with me, your usual host, Andrew, and I'm joined by John today. And also, we have a special guest who's basically dropped in at the very last minute because one of our guests dropped out to help us fill our schedule, and that's Kristine Kolodzlejski.
Yeah, that was good. That was good. I'm just going to lie, it was good.
Yeah, I'm good.
That was bad. That was terrible, Andrew. That was the mum who kind of like the kid does something. It's not quite good, but you're trying to encourage them. That was
exactly that.
Yeah,
Kolodzlejski. Yes, that's a Kolodzlejski.
Yeah, that's much better. Yeah, we've still got a bit of practice to do.
Don't worry, you won't be the first name that Andrew's ever murdered on this podcast, so it's all right.
And will not be the last.
Anyway, thank you very much for coming today. As Andrew kind of alluded to, we had someone drop out like very last minute, and our schedule would have been all over the place. Andrew's getting married in 2 weeks now. 1 week.
1 week.
1 week and 1 day.
Yeah. So when
wow.
this episode goes out, it would be literally I would have just been married and come back from my honeymoon. So.
Wow, amazing.
So. Thank you very much for keeping this schedule in. Both the people that are listening, we are the week after the Scottish Summit. I met Kristine in person, and it's really nice for you to kind of fit in today. But we're both kind of still nursing the post summit hangover 5 days later.
Absolutely. Yeah.
My sleep app still says I'm in sleep debt.
Yeah, definitely. It was very tiring, wasn't it? I mean, it was really fun, but I don't think partying till 5 o'clock in the morning and then going to a conference at 9 o'clock is a great idea. Maybe when you're 15, but not now.
But it's worth it when you become the pub quiz champion like I am. This pub quiz champion like I am. You know, we pulled together as a great team and we won, and we will soon be the defending champions at the South Coast Summit later this year in October.
You sound very confident about that, John.
Very confident. As I said to the speakers chat before, I don't make predictions. I give spoilers, and I gave a big spoiler that we were going to win.
Perfect. I'm looking forward to competing with you.
Imagine how bad I am if I lose.
Yeah.
Anyway, Kristine, you're a principal consultant at CDW, one of CDW's rivals, Computacenter. Can you give us a bit of like an introduction of yourself and the current job and role that you're doing at the moment?
Yeah, of course. Thanks, John. So I like you said, like Andrew said, I'm Kristine Kolodzlejski. Andrew, please remember how to say that. And I work as a principal technical consultant at a Microsoft Global Go partner called Computacenter, based in London in the UK. I've been there for a few months now, so I haven't been there very long, but I'm thoroughly loving it there. Great team, keeping me very busy. So yeah, it's definitely a very exciting role. So my kind of role is focused on Power Platform, Azure, Microsoft 365, so that like the whole package with the primary focus on Power Platform. Obviously, that's my kind of sweet spot. Worked with plenty of customers on developing applications, whether that's Canvas apps, model-driven apps, chatbots, and stuff. So yeah, loads of exciting stuff. I feel like kind of the customer base is growing really fast. I feel like customers just want to get the Power Platform in right now, and it's great to kind of see. So yeah, that's where I am right now.
Amazing. As I said, like we met recently, but I've seen you kind of like popping up a little bit everywhere over social media. We've talking here and there. You was at the Power Platform user group the other day. But yeah, so kind of can you just kind of like circle back? Let's go back to kind of like the beginning, like yourself growing up. Kind of what was a goal for your career as when you was growing up?
Yeah, of course. So funnily enough, my obviously my journey started when I was young, but originally I actually wanted to become a police officer. So when I was 18, when I was just before 18th birthday, I did join a police school back in Poland. So I'm originally from Poland. I moved to England 9 years ago. So I joined a police school to kind of train to be the kind of equivalent of what SAS is in England. So the specialist forces. So I did that for 6 months, and then I didn't quite enjoy it as much as I wanted to. I wanted to kind of make a move move abroad. So so I decided to make a change and then kind of change countries. So I had the kind of choice between America or the UK. Now, being from Europe, it was much easier to move to England than it was anywhere else in the world. So I thought, let's give England a try. So I did that. I moved to England with no friends, no family. I will never forget that. It was my first time on a plane. I had no idea what to expect. It was my second time abroad. I'd only ever been to Germany before. So it was like a brand new experience. I could hardly speak English, which was just really risky. So yeah, moved over here. Like I said, no family, no job, no friends. All I had was a house share that I'd found on Gumtree.com. Now, this house share, I had no idea what it looked like. It was someone that I found on Gumtree. So for all I know, it could have been a serial killer. You know, you just never know. It could have been anyone, and I don't know how I did it. I genuinely don't know how I decided to do that. So I went there, and then I started applying for jobs. I found a job within a couple of days, working as a warehouse operative in a JD Sports warehouse in Manchester. I will never forget that. The hardest job of my life. I was only there for a week, carrying heavy boxes around that weight like 30, 40, 50 pounds. I'm a very lazy person as well. So to me, that's very heavy. Yeah, it was the worst job ever. Working nights from 6 o'clock in the evening till 7 o'clock in the morning, 4 days on. Very, very kind of tough job. So, and then between that, I obviously was going to recruitment agencies trying to find some kind of office job instead. And then while I was applying for jobs, obviously I knew I was running out of money. So because I had only £200 in my purse, that's all I had, just a bit of personal savings. I knew I had a couple of weeks that will last me. I knew that by that kind of third week mark, I'm going to have to speak to my mum and see if she will pay me for a flight back. So obviously that's the last thing I wanted. I didn't want to kind of embarrass myself by failing. So I obviously carried on applying for jobs. In the meantime, I was living on Tesco everyday value bread. That cost like 20p at the time, eating like strawberry jam for 10p, I think it was at the time. And then I will never forget, one night I came back home and I treated myself to a pack of Tesco Everyday Value caramel wafers, which were probably about 50p at the time. And to me, that was like really expensive. So yeah, so I carried on applying for jobs, and then I heard back from one recruitment agency, and I found an office job there. So I started working as a business administrator. I knew I didn't want to do that. I knew I wanted to carry on in the IT space. I did my A-levels in computer science, technology, and then graphic design as well. So I knew I definitely wanted to carry on that route, but that kind of kept me going. So then a couple of months later, they had like an apprenticeship for like a business administration management apprenticeship. I thought, I'm never going to find a job in IT without any experience. So I thought I'm going to do that. So I did that for a year, passed my NVQ, and then it was time to kind of find a bit of a better job. So I found a job in, again, business management. I kind of made a really quick progression from business administrator to business manager. And then just as a kind of sideway thing, I got offered to do some SharePoint administration there. That was, 7 years ago now. So I got offered to kind of do a bit of SharePoint admin. So I started doing that, working with a lot of SharePoint staff. And I knew that was it. I knew I needed to kind of continue growing in that space. I knew I wanted to go into that. But I felt like I didn't have quite enough experience to kind of carry on. So I learned how to code. So I learned JavaScript, HTML, CSS, and then I knew that I'm getting closer to that kind of spot. So then 5 years kind of forward, I was working with SharePoint, doing Microsoft 365 and all of that. And then I found a job in London. So the job in London was in a proper IT department. It was very scary for me at the time because I didn't know what to expect. And that job was focused on kind of program management, Microsoft 365 deployment. That was just before the pandemic, just around, I think, a year before the pandemic. And that was my sweet spot. I knew I wanted to continue growing in the Microsoft space. I knew that coding was awesome. I love coding, but it probably wasn't necessarily what I wanted to kind of continue doing full time, perhaps as a kind of side hustle. So, and then just by chance, I got kind of waysided to have a look at the Power Platform. I attended an app in a day session. That was 3 years ago, probably now, 2.5, 3 years ago. And I was sold. I knew that was my thing. I knew that, I wanted to do some low code, but with a lot of kind of creativity to it, and then just carry on growing in that space. So that was it. And then fast forward kind of a couple of years, I managed to find a role as a senior consultant for a Microsoft Gold partner, working with the Power Platform kind of specifically. In the meantime, I learned how to code with C# as well and .NET, just to kind of, grow my knowledge. And then around, I think 18 months ago, I started to kind of collect certification badges as well. So I knew that if I wanted to kind of get anywhere, I needed to get something under my belt that proved that I had some kind of knowledge. So I ended up passing exam one after another, after another, after another. So I've collected around, I think, 13 badges now. That I've got. I'm hoping to have 20 certification badges by the end of this year. And yeah, that's when it kind of started officially with the Power Platform. So I started working for that gold partner there, started contributing a lot more in the community as well, just over a year ago. So I signed up on the Power Users Community Forum, started contributing a lot there, specifically in the Power Virtual Agent space as well, because the Power Apps and the kind of Power Automate space is very well manned by people already. There's some amazing people there, literally responding within seconds when you ask a question. So you started doing that. Then I moved to another gold partner. And then I moved to another gold partner within the last kind of 18 months. And now I'm at Computacenter. So I've recently launched a blog that I'm posting a lot around kind of designing Power Apps specifically. So implementing a bit of kind of Fusion development. I've got loads of articles on PCFs coming as well. Got my own GitHub repo. And yeah, just started contributing a lot more. So I did the South Coast Summit last year, which was my first in-person event as well. That was awesome. Literally the best fun I'd ever had. I joined the the Scottish Summit the year before. That was virtual, but obviously virtual isn't quite the same. So last year's South Coast Summit was literally the best thing ever. First in-person event in a community, and it was literally groundbreaking. So yeah, so once after that event, like I said, I really wanted to continue contributing to the community, and yeah, here I am 12 months later, spamming everyone's Twitter and LinkedIn feed, I guess, with stuff. It is the most rewarding thing, and we'll talk about that later. But it is the best thing ever. So, yeah, a bit of a kind of mixed background, I guess. I wouldn't change it for the world. It's obviously brought me to where I am, but it's been an awesome journey so far.
That's probably the best intro we've had, to be fair.
Yeah, it's one of the intros. I've not had a position to jump in and say anything, just sit back and just listen. So, I mean, it's amazing. Obviously, you moved to the UK knowing very little English, and that introduction that you just gave us was, was completely perfect. You obviously learned the language very well, and obviously become very confident in just public speaking as well.
Thank you. Thanks, Andrew. Thank you. It's been a tough journey. I'm not going to lie. I mean, being kind of surrounded by people that speak English 24 hours, a day, just because I am in England, surprisingly, and not being able to understand is a bit overwhelming, I think. And I know some people come over here and they prefer to not learn the language. I found it really difficult to not be part of the rest of I guess, community, I guess. So, yeah, I had no choice but to learn and keep that up, I guess.
So, I mean, I actually saw you at South Coast Summit last year, walking around. So, obviously, we've seen it in passing, but obviously, this is the first time she ever had a conversation. So, yeah, thank you for that introduction, because it's definitely given us.
Thank you.
Well, probably one of the best ones we've ever had, really.
Thank you, Andrew. Yeah. Thank you. I do like sharing it.
I mean, we were forced to bump into each other because our lift in our hotel was so small.
Yeah, our hotel was a bit of a building site, wasn't it?
Yeah, but it was all right. It was good. It was a good event. It was and I missed your session because I think I flew in late on a Friday, but I missed the session. But as I said, like I've got to catch up on it from the recording you done the other day. I think it was released today, wasn't it?
It was, yes. So we did the call on Wednesday, the community call. That was really fun. I mean, like I said, I like to kind of try and experiment with things. So I don't like just staying within the box. I like to kind of try new things and stuff. So David Warner, the program manager at Microsoft, asked if I wanted to join, and I was like, absolutely, yes, please. Because I'd been listening to the community calls for a while, and I'd always want to kind of present there as well. So that was fun. Got loads of great feedback and stuff. Got loads of components coming to my GitHub this weekend as well. So it's all great fun. And I think what really truly kind of motivates me a lot is the kind of community that we have. I don't think any other kind of tech stack has the kind of community that we have. I think we have, the best community that we can imagine. And it as cliche as it sounds, sometimes it feels like being with friends as opposed to kind of people that you're working with one way or another. And yeah, I was joking as well because, going to a conference or an event, it feels like a bit like going to a school trip. So you go there with like peers that you work with or whatever, go to same school with, and then you kind of just chat there, learn something new, and then go back home. And it's like you go to that school trip and you realize how fun it actually is. You make all of these amazing memories, and then before you know it's time to go home, and you get this kind of jet lag and tiredness, and you miss the whole thing, and you want to kind of relive the whole thing. And that's exactly how I feel after this Scottish
Yeah,
Summit.
definitely. Yeah.
I think I'm not exhausted from like physically. I think I'm exhausted from wanting to
Mentally, yeah.
relive that whole thing over again. And yeah, it was an amazing event. It was fantastic.
And the flights and stuff like that, it all gets to you, don't it? Even if it is traveling only for a little bit.
Yeah, I must admit my train journey back wasn't the best because the train.
Your train? Oh, no, I've done.
Just because I was traveling with a dog, I obviously had to get the train, and it was the Sunday, and there were strikes on as well, and it was the Harry Styles concert in Glasgow. So all the kids were coming back from Glasgow. We didn't even have anywhere to sit with my dog. I had the first class ticket, and I had nowhere to sit down. So yeah, it was quite a comeback, but nevertheless, it was the best weekend ever.
Awesome. So what kind of, you said you've enjoyed the community calls, you've been on the community calls at all. What kind of got you interested in the first place? Like, what made you kind of aware of the community and got you interested in it?
Yeah, so I think when you start with the Power Platform, you see and you follow these amazing people. So when I started my journey with the Power Platform after the App in a Day session, I saw people like April Dunham, Reza Durrani, Shane Young, Thomas Poshetek, all of those people. I hope I haven't forgotten anyone that I've been following. Daniel Christian, Victor Dantas, all of those people that you follow and you think, wow, these guys are doing all of this for free. They have this YouTube channel. They are contributing to people, not to show off their skills. They're actually wanting to teach people how to do things step by step. I mean, if you've ever watched Shane Young or April, they literally do step by step. I mean, you can't get any more details than that. And it's just incredible. And I used to think, wow, for people to spend their spare time doing that for the community is amazing. And obviously I think that's how majority of us have kind of got into the Power Platform. So if I do that still, if I'm ever stuck with something, I'll probably see if Shane Young covered something similar to see if I can kind of get to the idea of how to do something. And I think that was the kind of my motivation. I thought, I've learned by following the kind of experts in the industry, and I thought, now I am where I am. I want to give that back to the community as well. I want to show people how to do things too. And one thing that I really wanted to avoid is covering things that have already been covered, because like I said, there's a lot of free content available out there. If you want something, the first people that will come up is, like I said, April, Shane, and they have incredible content. I could never kind of compare myself to Shane or April because their content on YouTube is very high. So I wanted to find like a niche of something that I do that maybe I haven't seen a lot of in a community. And then I thought, designing Power Apps is something that's kind of niche, and I know people don't cover it too much, and I know some people don't like it at all. So I thought I'll just kind of dive into that. So, like I said, it's because I've been watching all of those people online that I felt like actually now I am where I am, and I love doing what I do. Why don't I share what I know and what I've learned from my journey here as well?
Awesome. Yeah, great. Yeah, I kind of feel the same, to be fair. Like, you see a lot of like people, peers and stuff like that. I mean, I got into the first kind of looking at the community and stuff as one of Andrew's user groups many years ago. We didn't meet or anything, but he hosted it, and that was just because a friend of mine, someone I was trying to recruit at the time for my company said, I'm going to this tonight, do you want to come? And then that's kind of the reason why I turned up, and I didn't even know any of this stuff existed. So that's why kind of like I ask like guests and stuff, how did they find out about it? Because it's like, unless you have somebody either in your company or a friend or someone like that who doesn't already go, it's kind of hard to know it exists, if you get what I mean, if you don't have Twitter or anything like that.
Yeah, exactly, definitely. And and like you said, once you get to LinkedIn, and I'm very new to LinkedIn as well, because I only created my account just over a year ago. I always just never wanted to have LinkedIn. Once you get LinkedIn and once you get Twitter, you see how much people are doing in the community. You see that it's like a big kind of friends group. Everyone is helping each other out. Like I said, when you go to the community forum as an example and someone asks a question, chances are that people like Kristine will respond in a second. So literally, I know how to do this. There you go. There's so many amazing people in the community, and it's just really rewarding, I guess, to be part of it.
It's something I kind of said on LinkedIn the other day. I went to Comms First last year. I think that was my first like proper in-person event, and I didn't know anyone. I went by myself. I kind of knew a couple of guests, of people, a couple of speakers there because they were guests of the podcast. And then I went to South Coast Summit. Then went to obviously the Scottish Summit by myself. And then I spent the whole weekend with Luke and Jose and Zoe. And we're like a really good friendship group now. So it's like just after a couple of conferences, like it's it's quite funny how quick everything can kind of go together. Yeah. I'm talking about kind of like that. Like I'm very so impressed of like how swift your career has gone. I've been in the UK for, you said, 9 years now, and you've gone from UK in 9 years, not really being able to speak too much English, to a principal consultant at the largest value-added reseller in the country. Like that's quite a journey, right?
It's been a journey. And sometimes I have to, like, as cliche as it sounds, I have to pinch myself sometimes because I mean, it's not been an easy journey, I must say. I've spent 90 hours a week learning more stuff and then taking time out as annual leave just to learn more things. So it's definitely not been an easy journey, but I still have to kind of pinch myself and think, wow, how have I managed to do this? And I think once you get somewhere, and hopefully you can relate to that, it's very easy to get imposter syndrome as well. And I don't think it's quite talked about enough, because you end up having people coming over to you asking for advice, and you sometimes think, wow, like I want to give you advice, but at the same time I feel like maybe I'm not good enough to give you that advice. And I think when you've done something and you get somewhere, it's very easy to kind of feel that. But it's definitely been a long journey. I'm not going to lie. I've had to kind of sacrifice all of my kind of teen years. This is not kind of supposed to sound sad, because I'm not sad about it. But things like partying and stuff. To be fair, I've never really been into all of that anyway, apart from the Scottish Summit when I was dancing till 5 o'clock in the morning.
I saw that Mars bar 4 o'clock in the morning.
And a deep fried Mars bar. I'm not going to name the people. The people that will be watching this back will know who I mean, but it's your fault that I was dancing and eating a Mars bar at 4 o'clock in the morning. Actually, I had the best time ever. So so I kind of missed like all of the kind of teenage 20s, and obviously I didn't go to uni either, so I missed the kind of that part of my life as well. But I kind of replaced that with, like I said, countless of evenings, days, every single day and weekend, literally learning more stuff. So it's been a journey. It's definitely been a journey, but I'm very grateful to kind of be where I am.
So I've got a question that we don't normally ask on that. I mean, the only reason I'm asking is because of your job title. I've got the same job, so we're both principal consultants, and it might be a good one for anyone who's like aspiring to be a principal consultant or currently is. But what does the principal role for you kind of like entail? What does it entail? What should a principal consultant do above and beyond what others?
Yeah, absolutely. So it's a very good question. So for me, I think a principal consultant is someone that definitely gets involved in a lot of pre-sales. So I think, talking to customers about the capabilities and possibilities of the platform, and then actually kind of not trying to sell, but trying to encourage them to come on that journey with the Power Platform. I mean, the Power Platform does get a bit, it can get a bit of a bad reputation, like every kind of low-code platform does, because people think it's always the kind of people that have been in the industry for 30 years, 40 years that, are kind of serial programmers that will say, you can't scale it, it's not a business application, you can never get that far. So it's really about kind of educating your customers on what you can achieve and what you can do, leading the team, so supporting your kind of more junior colleagues. I mean, our team is absolutely fantastic. We have 3 graduates in our team that have come to join our team straight after uni, and then 12 months later they're proper Power Platform developers and then developing amazing applications. So so it's really about mentorship. Also there's a lot of delivery stuff. So I'm not going to say that I just talk to people. I actually do things myself too. I'm not just there to kind of guide people. But it's about kind of being part of the team. And to me, whether you're a principal consultant or a consultant, it's all one team. It's not about the kind of hierarchy. It's all about collaborating together, working together on solutions, and then supporting each other. So, yeah. But in terms of the role, obviously itself, hopefully you'll be able to share what you do in a day. But like I said, a lot of the kind of pre-sale side of things, so we're educating the customers, and a lot of the kind of team support part as well.
Nice. Yeah, I agree. I completely agree with everything you kind of said. Obviously, I don't work in the Power Platform side of it. I work more on the M365 side of it. But yeah, I definitely agree with that.
Definitely. And I think, sorry, go on, Andrew.
So obviously, I mean, the fact obviously you've gone from starting working at JD in the UK up to a principal consultant in such a short period of time, because of the effort and dedication you basically put into your career, just basically goes to show anyone that's listening to this podcast, the more effort you put into your studying, your drive to actually succeed, shows that what you can achieve in a very short period of time.
Absolutely. And yeah, like I said, it's been a hard journey. I can't count the amount of times that I literally fell asleep with an iPad on my face trying to read Microsoft Learn Docs, trying to kind of absorb all of that. And the amount of times I just thought, you know what, I'm just going to give up on that. I'm going to become Instagram famous instead, because it's much easier. And I do that. And I actually still get questions like, oh, Kristine, do you work in a tanning shop? Or Kristine, do you do Instagram? And I'm just like, no, actually, I have a technical role now. So yeah, the amount of times I nearly gave up on this, just because it was just so much effort and then so much time, and there's so much to learn. And the thing is with the Power Platform and the Microsoft stack in general is that you never really know everything. You're constantly learning, and it's kind of about constantly being able to grow and then wanting to learn new things as well, because we like Ignite or Microsoft Build, we have new features literally coming out left, right, and center all the time. So if you're not keeping up to date, chances are that you're going to be very, very behind from everyone else too. But yeah, my advice to everyone is definitely, if you're keen to do it, you can do it. Doesn't matter how old you are. Yeah, I know, again, cliche advice, number 3, I think now. But it's definitely achievable.
Well, so I mean, I look at Microsoft Learn, but I don't actually sit there and read it myself. I just get an immersive reader to do it all for me. So okay. I can sit there and just do what I need to do, and obviously let the Edge just talk to me, tell me what's on the page. Yeah, that's the easiest way to.
Yeah, that's a good point. You see, the problem I have is that I tend to absorb things that I see a bit better than the ones I hear. If I'm just listening to something, I'll just zone out completely. I'll start thinking about what I want to have for food tonight, and then it will just never stay there. And to be fair, equally, sometimes I was, let's say, laying on the sofa with the iPad, literally reading the docs, and then I'll end up kind of an hour later realizing that I need to understand what I'm reading about as well, not just actually just skim through the text. So yeah, no, it is definitely a journey. It is definitely a journey.
So as a woman in tech that's obviously, moved from Poland over to the UK, have you faced any particular kind of challenges or issues?
Yeah, I think we all do still. I think there's still a lot of kind of stigma around being in IT, and it's definitely getting a lot better. I have seen it getting a lot better, but you still sometimes get the kind of side eye if you say, "Oh, I do development," as an example, or when you meet customers. Sometimes the expectation is that it is going to be someone male. I haven't personally had any bad experiences. If someone doubts my skills based on my gender, we probably shouldn't work together. That's what I think. But yeah, I have heard of a lot of bad examples. Personally, I haven't. I like to think that I'm quite easygoing, and then I like to prove myself by obviously proving what I know, rather than trying to convince myself that being a woman in tech is anything better than anything else. But I have heard quite a few horror stories, and I think, I mean, we did have the panel of women in tech at the Scottish Summit as well, and it's great to see how many men actually participate in that as well, and then how many recognize. And I think, sometimes it's the kind of old-fashioned kind of view that it's only men that get to work in IT, and it's still a male-dominated industry. But actually, I saw something on LinkedIn I've forgotten who it was, one of the MVPs posted that it was the first conference ever that she had to actually queue for the ladies' toilet. And it is true. It is true, because you never get to queue at a conference like an IT conference for the ladies' toilet. So, yeah, so it's I think it's definitely getting better. It's great that, it's actually been spoken about. And I think we're on track to do good things, definitely.
It's something that they done. I mean, it was highlighted all the way through the keynotes and stuff. The amount of the guys at the Scottish Summit actually put into accessibility. It was in the keynotes. Donna spoke at the at the end as well. It was accessibility was such a big thing. And going on to that, up on the top floor, Microsoft had the whole suite there, and they had the sessions, as you said, the Women in Tech one. I sent a picture to Andrew when I was in there. It was packed, like so many people there. It was really good to see everyone kind of sharing the stories. A lot of similar stories to kind of what we hear in this podcast weekly or bi-weekly. But some of the other ones as well were really good as well, about the accessibility and mental health and everything like that. And it was, what Microsoft done that day, I think, was really powerful and really really needed, to be fair. I think it was really good.
Yeah, and I think
definitely that's one thing. Obviously, from having at Mirion, people having Miri doing storytelling for Microsoft basically shows how much effort they're putting into developing the stories around not just only products, but just basically, just life in general, because, mental health and disabilities affect basically everyone, whether it's directly or indirectly. So the fact that Microsoft are putting a lot of effort into that goes to show what kind of organization they are and how they're trying to basically lead things for other organizations to follow.
Yeah, absolutely. That's the thing. And I think Microsoft are really leading by example, because they're kind of breaking every single boundary to kind of show that it doesn't matter, whether you have an accessibility need, whether you're a woman working in tech, whether you're based in a country that doesn't get Microsoft for whatever reason. Doesn't matter what your background is, doesn't matter where you're from, whether you speak English or not, you are included in that group. And I think it's brilliant that Microsoft are so open about it. And then talking about mental health, I mean, Donna's keynote, the kind of closing keynote was really powerful as well. And it's great to see that leaders like Donna don't just talk about it, but actually she's experimenting with her team as well. And I love seeing the updates that she posts on Twitter on what works and what doesn't. And yeah, I think mental health, there's still a lot of stigma around mental health in general. I think particularly in a workplace, I think people are kind of just scared to admit that they're struggling, because it's obviously perceived as you're not good enough or whatever the reason is. It's a very kind of old-fashioned thinking, and the problem is that it actually does affect all of us in one way or another, whether directly ourselves or someone through a family member. I think it does affect all of us, definitely. And I mean, imposter syndrome is a problem too, and it's effectively generalized anxiety. That's all it is. So, and I have struggled with anxiety. I obviously don't talk about it probably enough, but I have, and I've been directly affected by a family member who had mental health issues that unfortunately took their own life. So I think it does affect everyone in one way or another. And the fact that we're talking about it openly and we're not judging, but we're trying to be there for other people is definitely amazing.
Yeah, Donna has that ability to just transfix an audience so well. That keynote was so good. I think even if people just weren't really, people generally sometimes are not interested in like mental health, talking about mental health or anything like that, and if it doesn't affect them, then it doesn't bother them. But I think anyone who was in that room for that keynote, for the closing keynote, I think they had some Donna homework.
Yeah, definitely. I think Donna has volunteered everyone to do their kind of homework.
I'm looking for. I'm at the South Coast Summit, as we mentioned. I'm also the track lead for accessibility, so I'm looking forward to going through all these sessions that have been submitted, around that topic, because for me it's going to be so interesting, because I've been affected by mental health, just like yourself. I had a family member take his own life, and you know, it is very tough. And you know, every time I see Donna or hear her speak, she is a woman that basically, when she speaks, you listen because she knows what she's talking about. She's very switched on. When we had on this podcast, you know, it was a great episode. We probably could have talked for about 2 hours, couldn't we, John? Because she just, yeah, she just radiates such a great personality that people just, you know, are pulled in by her. And then, you know, you are, you know, on the same wavelength as Donna for that period of time that you're in the room.
Yeah, absolutely. And the thing is, she doesn't just talk about it, she actually means what she's talking about, and she's very passionate about it. And you can see that it comes across well as she speaks. And like you said, when Donna speaks, no one else talks. And the room is quiet. I mean, we had so many people at the summit. Not even one thing was said while Donna was talking, because everyone was just so consumed by what she was talking about, which is just amazing.
Definitely, especially the session was 5 o'clock on a Saturday.
Yeah,
everyone was tired by then. Like everyone wanted to go out, get a drink, get some food and stuff like that. And like she still had everyone there eating off the palm of her hands. Like pretty.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, everyone was very consumed by that session. And yeah, actually we watched it on YouTube yesterday, and it is as powerful as it was in person. It is fantastic. So yeah, definitely great to see Microsoft do things like that, because I think Microsoft will lead by example, and then obviously other organizations will start adopting and talking about things too, which is fantastic.
Nice. So what's next for you? Like you've been you're obviously at a new job at the moment, but what's next within the community for you? Like is the aspiring aim to be an MVP, and what's next in the community for yourself?
Yeah, definitely. So I think one thing that I definitely want to continue doing is helping out people, and then you know, posting the blog posts. I am in the process of starting a YouTube channel as well. I had a couple of people reach out to me yesterday about another accessibility event that's happening next month. So really just about kind of contributing to the community. I mean, Microsoft MVP is a huge title. It's fantastic, and I'm not going to lie, I would absolutely love that one day. But it's definitely not the reason why I'm doing it, if that makes sense. I mean, to me, just being able to see people and help people and just post about things that I really enjoy, and then seeing people get excited about it is the fun in it. I mean, the community call on Wednesday was just so fun. Yeah, I guess just continue growing in this space, continue contributing. Like I said, I do have a YouTube channel coming up as well, and just see where.
The vlog's really nice as well. I checked it out on, I think it was Monday. I checked it out.
Did you? Yeah. I think he's somewhere. Leo, do you want me to bring him?
I said your blog, but your dog's equally cute. I saw you. I saw you walking it on Saturday night on the way as we was on the way to the pub quiz.
Yeah, he's the main attraction. I think he's coming. Oh, you can see him there.
He is, yeah, look how fluffy he is.
Yeah, he's definitely the main attraction on my blog. So all of the subscribers definitely subscribe to see Leo, not me. So yeah, I'm not sure if you can actually see him over there.
Yeah, there he is.
Drinking the water from the water fountain. Yeah, he's my little supporter, definitely.
Well, what I will say, obviously, the attitude that you've got towards the MVP status is definitely the correct one, because you know, yes, it's a great title to have. It's not something you can easily achieve. You have to obviously spend that time, putting the effort in. There we go. The dog's off.
Hello. Hello. Say hi. Hey,
but yeah, I mean, having the right attitude to the MVP program, you have to, because you have to put the hard work in to get that award out. So you know, if you become an MVP, great, brilliant. You know, I've done it. I've got 3 plaques behind me, and you know, when I got nominated, I think I was successful on my 2nd attempt. I got nominated.
Okay, yeah.
And
we're descending into chaos here.
Yeah.
For any of our audio listeners, there's a huge dog sitting on Kristine's leg.
Can you actually hear the snoring as well? Can you hear the snoring?
Oh, your camera's doing pretty well.
He's snoring like crazy. But yeah, I agree, Andrew, that, you know, hey, baby, getting an MVP is definitely not like the priority. It's a great thing to get recognized, but it definitely isn't why I'm doing it. I just really enjoy seeing people and being able to help out. And sometimes I think it's really flattering when people on LinkedIn or, sorry, let me just quickly pop him on the floor. Yeah, so I think it's really flattering when you get people on LinkedIn or Twitter say, "Oh, Kristine, can you help me with that?" Just the fact that people think that you can help them with something and you are able to help them is brilliant as well. And it's, yeah, like I said, I've learned and got a lot for free from the community, so it's my kind of time to kind of give back a bit as well, as much as I can. Again, cliche sentence number 4, I guess.
I think the people you mentioned earlier, April, obviously we've had on the show before, and a couple of the others said, I think everyone who speaks about getting into the community. I was in a talk on Saturday. It was just before mine about the 8-year-old, 9-year-old kid who started doing like power platforms.
Yeah, Pranav. Yeah, Pranav is awesome. Awesome, absolutely. I mean, when I was 7, all I wanted to do is just steal my mum's lipstick and eat all of the chocolates in the house. I never wanted to get to Microsoft exam, and I think the fact that Pranav is doing it at 7 years old, I think he's 7 or 8 now. And actually, I saw a picture on LinkedIn of him the other day going to school with the Microsoft Azure bottle that he got at the Scottish Summit, and I just think it's really cool. It is really fun. I wish I had that motivation when I was 7. Like I said, I just wanted to eat all the chocolate in the house.
Yeah. I went to work on Monday with my Scottish Summit pub quiz gold medal on. So
Oh, did you?
Show and tell at work, John, isn't it?
Yeah.
Zoe had on the train home. She had the trophy on the table and the medal around her neck still.
Oh, did she? Yeah, no, that's one way to show off that you guys won, I guess. I'm definitely not sulking over that, I promise.
So we're getting close to the top of the hour anyway, and I'm sure you've got customer work, and so have I and Andrew. But it would be start to wrap up now. But it'd be good to kind of understand. We spoke about the past, present. So what is the future? We spoke about the community, but what's the future for yourself? What do you aspire to?
Yeah, as a person or as a career-wise.
We'll go career-wise.
Yeah, career-wise, I definitely want to progress. Obviously, that's my poor English showing there. So I definitely want to progress. So
I thought that was a police officer coming through there.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
You want to serve and protect the power platform community.
Listen, anything you say now, maybe it's in evidence, okay? So I think the career now is obviously keep kind of growing my career where I am right now. Hopefully progress to an architect role at some point, and really just continue growing in the community. I mean, like I said, I love contributing to the community, continue kind of growing my profile and stuff, and see what life brings my way. I guess I just take it from there.
So I have one final question to close
Fire
the
away.
podcast. So a bit of like a lift elevator question.
Yeah.
What do you believe needs to happen to improve women in tech in the UK?
Very good question. Very, very difficult question as well. I think trying to raise awareness. So I think by letting, it's really bad to say, but obviously the problem with women in tech obviously arises from some men being protected by the IT space. I think obviously that's the key problem. There's no lying about it that, women in tech it might be a problem to people that are quite protective over the space. I think just generally raising awareness or talking about it, and I think by women presenting at conferences or at technical conferences, I think that's the easiest way to convince people that actually we do exist in this space. There's no way of getting us out. Some of us are nerds, like me. I love anything to do with geeky stuff. So I'm an avid gamer. I love coding. I love anything that I probably shouldn't like at my age. I know, I should be probably going out to partying every night. Never mind Scottish Summit. I should be partying every night, doing all of that stuff. And I don't, because I'm a nerd. And I think by getting us out there, talking at technical conferences surrounded by techies is probably the best the best way, I guess. But I think we're doing really well. I do think we're doing very well. I think in large organizations, especially in the UK, obviously I can't speak for other countries. I think in the UK specifically, I think the kind of I guess the percentage between men and women working in tech is definitely kind of becoming a bit more equal. But like I said, getting our names out there, showing that we can actually do things. And actually, funnily enough, the people that I learned the most from were female. That's how I started in tech. So I watched people like, I don't know if you've ever heard of her, Anya Kubow. She's like a pro developer on YouTube. That's how I learned how to code. She's the person I learned how to code. So yeah, like I said, get your name out there, get yourself out there. Don't feel like you're ever going to be judged, and just swing it. Just do it. Get your name out there, and it will definitely keep getting better.
Cool. Thank you very much.
No worries.
So, listeners, thank you very much for either watching or listening over audio. So it's been a great episode, and I would want to say one of the best introductions we've ever had so far on any podcast, any of our episodes. So, John, I'll see you next time, which will obviously be now after my wedding and honeymoon. So
they've been married, yeah. Congratulations for them.
So yeah, thank you very much, and we'll see you next time on our next episode.
Perfect. Well, enjoy your honeymoon. Thanks, guys, for having me. It's been a pleasure, and yeah, see you at the South Coast Summit.
See you then.
Thank you for listening to the Microsoft Spotlight podcast. Please make sure you hit that like, share, and subscribe button to help us promote our message. You can also follow us on Twitter at MSFT Spotlight, and we're also on LinkedIn, the Microsoft Spotlight podcast. And finally, we'd like to tell you a little bit about BitTitan and thank them for sponsoring this podcast.
Remote migrations start here. Let Migration Wiz do the work for you. It's fast, secure, and 100% SaaS, which means you can migrate at any time and from anywhere. Migrate mailboxes, documents, public folders, personal archives, or even Microsoft Teams with just a few clicks. No special training needed and no customer downtime. When the work matters, choose Migration Wiz.